Hello, everyone. We are so excited to do this live stream live with Carrie West. This is just going to be a wonderful conversation all about Carrie's upcoming program, Money Rewritten for Women. Now, for those of you that don't know Carrie West, let me just take a second to introduce you to this powerhouse leader. She is a #1 international best-selling author. She's a speaker and a narrative coach that helps people and businesses rewrite the stories that are shaping their lives. Carrie is known for blending her Hollywood storytelling, where she worked with some of the biggest stars and some of the biggest brands and some of the biggest names in Hollywood, with deep personal growth expertise to offer real actionable insight. She is the author of the Rewritten series, including Life Rewritten in 2025 and Money Rewritten this year in 2026, or next year in 2026. And the neat thing about this is that it reveals how money stories influence worth, choices, and freedom. So this is going to be a really exciting conversation with Carrie, and I can't wait for each and every one of you to get to know her. Now, Money Rewritten for Women is really a breakthrough course. Not only is it a book, it's a course designed to help women uncover the beliefs, emotions, and language that quietly shape their relationship with money. So Carrie uses practical tools to help her clients and participants learn how to recognize old financial patterns that may block instead of build a healthy, empowered connection to wealth. So this isn't about spreadsheets. It's about rewriting the story that defines your worth and helps you step into financial confidence with clarity and with freedom. Carrie, I am so excited to welcome you to today's live stream and to learn a little bit more about, again, this incredibly revolutionary offering that you're making, Money Rewritten for Women. So tell us, what was the inspiration for this new book and breakthrough course?
First of all, thank you, and thank you for having me here. I always enjoy our conversations, and I appreciate how much you support women in whatever we're doing, and I really appreciate that. Grateful to you. Um, Money Rewritten came to me as part of the Rewritten collection, like I told you. My mission has been to view our world with a new lens. There's a big term in Hollywood called perspective. From whose perspective are you telling the story? And it's interesting, so many of us are telling a story that was given to us from an outdated perspective. The perspective usually came from our family and our parents and society at that very tender age. And it's become this movement. Even a really good friend of mine who is the head of this massive wealth management group is now teaching people how to teach your children to have a better relationship with money so that there's not so much struggle when you reach adulthood. And we're teaching kids now to understand, to be better educated when it comes to money. But here's what's happened. Most of the women today, at least 75 to even 80% today, are undereducated when it comes to understanding finances and the role that money plays. Money is this construct. It's almost imaginary. Money is not a solid thing. It's a concept. We have cash, we have currency, we have credit cards, we have dings in our bank account. Those are tangible. But the idea of money is an idea, and it's put in place to because it supports the economics of our world. Our world, our reality is shaped by the economics that handle it. And that's not a bad thing. And by the way, everything I say today is not a bad thing. It's not a judgment. It's a perspective of where we are and how we got here. So we need the economy. We need to have people here who understand the business of the financial structure of the world. And women, again, are undereducated in that. We're told, don't take economic classes, don't be an accountant, don't worry about the bank account. You're going to have a husband, they'll take care of it. Or your father takes care of it. Your father hands you the amount of money you need. So we've been given this message over and over again that don't worry, money is not your purview. Money is not your place to worry. You go and worry about those things. So, what we really need to do is shift that. And that's what I help people do is to not be concerned. Don't look at money as this all powerful, all grabbing issue. Money is a concept we need it to run our economic world. We need it, when they say money makes the world go round, economy makes the world go round, not money.
I love that. And really, what you're talking about, Carrie, is a new understanding of your inherited money stories, whether
Yes.
that's cultural, generational, or maybe it's a personal script that has quietly shaped your choices. So, how do you begin to recognize those influences in your life that have shaped your money story, culturally, generationally, or personal scripts?
It's a very straightforward way. We all understand the origin story concept. When you looked at a movie, it's amazing good screenwriters and good authors find a really great way to give you the protagonist backstory. It could be done in a scene, it could be done in a conversation. You know it by the clothes they're wearing, the actions they take, the schools they go to, where they live. Setting is a great place. So all of that's their backstory, and it's a critical part to understanding your protagonist journey. So, as the protagonist of your own story, you have to know where you started. And it all started the day you were born. The day you were born, you walked on to a stage that was well into the second act of the play. You were an actor sitting backstage waiting to take your part in that movie, that play. So you walk in and you're looking at all the lights and all the action and all the noise and all these people living this life and you don't know any of it. You don't know any of it. And because instinctually our lizard brains, the amygdala says you got to fit in here girl or guy, you got to fit in, you got to belong, that's survival. Survival is one of our most basic instincts. So we are observing and absorbing everything around us. Language is the perfect example. We pick up language based on what we hear around us. That's why kids are so good at learning languages. In my household we had my father was from Italy, my mother was from Serbia. So for the longest time I understood three languages. I've lost it, but kids know the language. This is how we know who we are. And because belonging means fitting in, because being different means this isn't your tribe. How many times have we been told, and it's caused some divisiveness in the world now because if you're not like me, you must be different from me, ergo, I can't, you're scary, I can't trust you. So we absorb and observe everything that's going on around us. So if your parents are worried about money, emotions come through stronger than any action. Emotions are easily absorbed. So if your parents are fretting or worrying, that's one thing. Or I have wealthy clients that struggle with money because they cling to it, they hold to it for dear life, they stranglehold it. So we have these opposing forces. And the way you find out about that is what was going on when you were in your infancy. Can you remember your parents' house? Can you remember where you were in society? Where did you live? Where did you go to school? Did you go to boarding school? Did you go to public school? Did you go to private school? All these factors form us. And every client, I hate saying every or all because it's not like that, but every client I have is replaying something from that original story in their current day life. That's where the messages get in, and especially for women, especially for women.
So, Carrie, I have to ask you that gives us such insight into where you may have adopted your money story, but how do you begin creating a fresh way of seeing money, not
Yep.
as a measure of worth, but as a tool for choice, for
Yep.
freedom, for possibility? What
Yep.
are some practical steps to start rebuilding your relationship with money and living more fully on your terms?
First of all, knowing it. Awareness is key. Knowing where you are today, what is your current relationship with money? What are the emotions you have when money comes to play? And are you in a stress period of your life? People have certain periods of time when their relationship with money is more stressful. You're starting a business, you're starting a family, you want to go to school, you're getting married. How do you handle finances? You have a child that needs to go to school. You have two children. One wants to go to school, one doesn't. How do you respond if one you want to pay for one education and the other one's going to get a new car? How what is your relationship with money? How do you talk about money? What is your language of money? Again, when you pick up this language, whether it be English, French, Spanish, or Urdu, what is your language of money? Do you talk about you can't afford it? Don't be frivolous. I'm a frugal person. What is your language around money? So, what are the emotions you feel, first of all? Do you freak out every time you get a notice from your credit card company? Do you freak out? you know, eh, there are a lot of people that when they used to go to the mailbox, I don't know, some people may still get their bills sent to them by mail, but they'd see their bills and go, "Ugh." Do you remember? Ugh, look at how many bills came in. And then, especially now we're coming up with the holidays. January is the most stressful time for money because that's when the bills from what you spent for the holidays start coming into play. I can't afford that. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll put it on the card and pay for it in January. So January is the most stressful time because you've spent all this money and now you're worried about it. So pay attention to these times and pay attention to these tricks and clues about your relationship with money because I promise you how you feel about money dictates how your bank account is operating.
I love that. Thank you so much, Carrie. What great insight. And really, what you're talking about is that the money story you've been told is actually too small for the woman that you are becoming, right? The life you want to create, the financial success and the financial future that you envision for yourself. So I have to tell you that the work that you do helping women uncover the beliefs, the emotions, the habits that keep them under earning, over giving, or doubting their value is just so important. So if you were to give away just three pieces of advice of how you would help people think through their under earning, their over giving, or doubting their value, what would you recommend?
First of all, understand that money is just an idea, it's a concept. Money is a way, you said the perfect word. Money is an exchange of value for value. And I think for women especially, you said another key word. How can we value ourselves and know that what we have to offer is valuable? That takes confidence and that takes building steps in your relationship with money. So the first thing is understanding your current relationship with money. And then as you start working with it, start practicing changing some of your old habits. So in other words, if you think I'll save next week or when I get my big check, I'll save that check. Don't do that. We if you think about how much you spend for a cup of coffee. I mean, this is an old trick that people do. That $5 you put away for a cup of coffee, or depending where you live, it might be $10. Put that aside. Whatever you pay for your daily coffee routine, or whatever your morning beverage routine is, it could be tea. Take that money and match it and put it in a pocket or just put it in a drawer. Don't even put it in a savings account. I started putting it in the console of my car. And before I went on this trip, I took all the money out and I had over $150. That made me feel so good about myself. I mean, it's $150. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, it isn't anything, but it boosted my confidence. So what I'm suggesting are avenues to boost your confidence and know that you are worth it and you do have value. And it's that inherent value, not the money, it's our inherent message, our worth that we need to present to other people, and it has value. Then you can feel better about what you're charging and recognize that if people don't want to pay for your services, move on. There's plenty of people out there that want your services, that need your services. That's the toughest part. We think we won't have another chance at a client. So we keep, putting ourselves out there. We will. And it's when you start making those micro moment, I call them micro moments of change, when you're in that moment and think I got to have that client, if you can stop and take a breath and say, "No, I'm worth it." You start rewiring your brain. It seems small and subtle, but it is effective. It's more effective than sweeping big windfalls, waiting for that windfall. Take the time every day and do a micro moment of change. That rewires everything and gets more opportunities that suit you and who you really are. And this is where people sometimes get nervous if it didn't work right away. I did what Carrie said, but my next call was not a paying client. The next call was the one you were supposed to acknowledge was an old pattern. Take a breath, and I'm going to trust that this next call after that or the one after that will be the right one. Remember, we've had these habits of ours for decades. For a lot of us, it's been decades. So I don't know if that's 3, but it's definitely 2 and a
That
half.
is absolutely amazing, Carrie. Thank you. And so, for all of you that are watching, this is your invitation to change your money story. I got to tell you that the kind of incredibly practical action steps that Carrie just outlined is really, really, I think, the beginning, the first actionable insight and step that you can take to completely rewrite your own money story. And as a member of Lead Hership Global, Carrie has been incredibly generous and offered a 50% discount for Money Rewritten for Women, her new course that's going to help you uncover the beliefs, the emotions, the habits that keep you under earning, over giving, or doubting your value. This is your invitation to completely rewrite your money story and to take those practical steps to start rebuilding your relationship with money and living a much more full life on your own terms. So, Carrie, any last words that you would give someone to give them a sense of confidence and motivation that this is possible?
Yes, yes. When you understand these underlying emotions and beliefs you have, you'll start to understand why if you write an affirmation on every mirror in the house and that's all you do is read affirmations, why they don't seem to work. Because you haven't looked underneath that. And once you unlock that, I promise you, it shifts very quickly. Very
I love
quickly.
that. I
Yes.
love that. That's absolutely a beautiful way of wrapping up today's conversation. So, thank you so much, Carrie West, for sharing your insight, your knowledge, your expertise, and your experience helping women rewrite their money story. And for all of you watching, please don't miss Carrie coming up in December, where she's going to give an entire masterclass about how to rewrite your story of money as a woman. So don't miss the opportunity to sign up for the 1 hour masterclass that Carrie is giving in December. And stay tuned for her upcoming course, Money Rewritten for Women. Thank you again so much, Carrie.
Thank you.